Welcome back to Part of the Arts with me, Rebecca Godden. We are kicking off season 2 with the lovely Sara Fairclough, a professional actor from Yorkshire who trained at Manchester Met alongside stars like Julie Walters and Steve Coogan. After a break to raise her 3 daughters, Sara is back in the spotlight, signing with a new agent and auditioning for BBC dramas, Netflix series and adverts. She also regularly collaborates with Theatre for Life, creating new projects. Tune in to hear all about her return to acting, her creative journey, and the evolving landscape of theatre and TV in today's world. Hi, Sara.
Hello.
Welcome to Part of the Arts.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming in amidst car trouble.
Oh, I know.
We were saying winter in England.
Yep.
Cars don't like it.
No.
I nearly couldn't get up the hill in Winchester yesterday. It just stopped on Romsey Road. And we had to put our hazards on and we were like, what's happening?
Yeah.
So well done for getting here. Talking of the weather and it being cold, let's move on to our icebreaker. So
Yes.
I asked you to have a little think. Often we say things in the industry just that come to mind straight away out loud that maybe should have stayed in our heads. Naturally oversharers as actors. Do you have something you said where you thought, yeah, that shouldn't have come out?
When I was at drama school, we had a fight instructor.
I thought you were just going to say, we had a fight. And I was like, oh, wow, okay, then we're getting into it.
He was also an actor. I think his name was Remy Kaplinski or something, and he did fight direction and sword fighting.
Fun.
But I found it really hard, and I just thought it wasn't for me.
Yeah.
But one particular time, I had to get home to look after my mum, and I wanted to swap because there was like two sections that you could go into, you know, like the morning group and the afternoon group, or something like that. So I asked to go into the morning one so I could get home, and he said no. So I had a big argument with him, and I told him to shove it. Shove his fight direction. And I looked at all my friends and I went, and you lot, I said, you can shove it as well, but with all your private houses and everything, because, you know, I came from Sheffield and me and my mum were really poor when I went to drama school. But
And
then
who you were with was quite a different cohort.
And then when I came back, I felt so terrible. And the course leader, she was Irish, and she came up to me and she went, "So Sara," she said, "What about all these private houses and telling us to sticking it up?"
And what did you say?
I'm so sorry. I said I just needed to get home.
Did she give that classic, like, let's leave the drama to the performing,
Yeah,
not
all that,
not the personal.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
But we became friends. The fight director, I saw him in the pub some months later and we had a drink and I said, "I'm really
That's all it
sorry."
takes.
Yeah.
A pint and you can just reconcile anything.
That's right.
Good for you, though, because actually sometimes life takes precedent
Yes.
over the practice.
It does,
Because
it does.
life, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
Talking about the practice, I'd love to know what you've seen recently within the performing arts that has kind of sparked or ignited a passion inside of you. Like, what have you seen where you've been like, oh, that was amazing?
So I went to the Scratch Night at the Mast.
Yeah.
And I saw this lady who I'd worked with, Lucy, but I can't remember her surname. And she did. So they're all shows that could be shows that could be taken further. So she did a story, a stand-up sort of thing. And it started off where she was sort of very prim and proper, Pride and Prejudice. And then all of a sudden she just rejected men and she turned into Batwoman. And
Oh, my God.
the music was great and the light was red. And
So it's like a huge juxtaposition, jump.
yes, but it was hilarious. It was so funny. And all the audience at the end stood up and gave her a massive round. And it was just great.
Was it a one-woman show?
Yes, it was, yeah.
I love me a one-woman show.
Amazing. It was amazing.
Like the strength and the I don't know, the self-belief in yourself to do a one-woman show is just awesome.
Yes,
I think
yeah.
whoever does that, no matter if I
Yeah.
think I go and I think that's amazing or I think it's okay, I think bravo
Yeah,
for doing
absolutely.
that. I love Scratch Nights as
Yeah,
well, just in
yeah.
work in progress, because you see stuff that's like, you know, in America they say off-Broadway or off-West End that hasn't made it by critics' acclaim, but actually exposes you to different art styles and different ways of working that you wouldn't have even popped into your head at all. And talking of like
different ways of working. So you're an actor, kind of born and bred actor. I'd say you're like a comedic actor, comedy actor.
Yes, I do love comedy.
Yeah.
But I think what goes with that, if you're good at comedy, you're normally very good at serious nitty-gritty drama, as it were.
Yeah.
That's what I feel like.
Because you can see it from both extremes.
Yes.
And also I think if you're good at comedy, or if you're just a funny person, it makes you good at improvisation.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah,
That's right,
and
yeah.
being flexible.
Yeah.
So you can adapt.
Yeah.
So absolutely having that background in comedy has probably lent itself to going further. And so you kind of started out in the industry. Where did you start out? Where in the UK were you kind of based? You're from Yorkshire.
Yeah. I didn't go to any classes when I was young. I just went to college, and from then on, I tried to get into drama schools, like top ones like RADA, and they went, go away. You need to get some life experience. So I did. I worked for a while, and then I went back, and I'm so glad I did that, because then I went with a fresh new look on life. I'd lived a bit of a life.
Yeah.
And then I got into... Because back then, the only way you could get into the industry is if it was that you attended an accredited drama school.
Really?
That was the only way.
Okay.
Yes. You weren't taken seriously by anybody unless you knew somebody in the industry, or you'd been to an accredited drama school.
That was the only way in.
Yes, that was it. So that's what I did. But I went later in life. Everything's been later in life for me.
Yeah.
So I went later in life, and I went to Manchester.
Nice.
And so from then on, it sort of...
Did you like Manchester?
Yes, I did. Yeah. Really, yes, great.
They call it like the second London for
Yeah,
the arts
yeah,
now, don't they?
that's right,
Like, such a good hub.
Yeah.
And I think that's really interesting you say, you did it later in life. I think there's such a pressure of, especially within our industry, of... You feel behind if you hit 30 and you've not done this, if you've hit 40 and you've not done this. And to go straight into drama school from sixth form or college and having attended all those classes as a kid in between all your usual studies, getting life experience as well. But actually, I am seeing more now people taking a break or trying to do stuff on their own, even without a degree or without drama school, and then going back to drama school, like what you said, with that lived experience. Yeah. And I think of myself 10 years ago, I didn't have the confidence that I have now. And I think if I'd have gone to audition for drama schools and universities now, I'd have gone in completely differently to 10 years ago. Like, I didn't have the experience. I didn't have the confidence. Yeah. I didn't have so I think there's something to be said about actually just living life.
Yes, that's right. Absolutely.
And then going back into it.
Yes.
And you've lived your life. You performed, you acted, you studied, and then you had a family.
Yes, that's right. Yes.
And that was your full-time job, rightly so, bringing up your family.
That's right. Yeah.
Tell us about that time and then coming back.
Yeah, so I was 30 when I became a mum. I'd not long been out of drama school, and my first agent had a breakdown.
Because they were like, you've just signed with us.
No, they had a mental health breakdown.
Oh, God, not because you were like, I'm stepping back.
Not me, my agent, because the industry. I think that was the start of it, really. But anyway, so I thought, right, well, I wanted to have a family. Yeah. Because I don't really have much family myself, maternal.
You wanted to make your own. Yeah.
I've got 3 daughters, so I completely quit. Yeah. I completely quit acting. I've brought them up. My eldest is 16 and my youngest is 12. And so now I'm sort of working my way back in, but it's taking a long time, a really long time to get back in. Yeah.
And how has that felt? How did it feel, first of all, quitting and then making that decision? Like, how were you? Do you remember what that feeling was? Because I know a lot of people, again, I'm in my early 30s. Yeah. There are a lot of people within my age range who have been in the industry. That's all they've known for their whole life. They've slogged and they've made a name for themselves. And I hate that it's there, but there is that worry, especially as a woman, of, well, if I have a family, if I have children and I step back, I can't completely step back. I can't completely quit because people will forget about me.
Yeah.
I will lose my contacts.
Yes.
I will lose my progression. Not only the money, because statutory maternity pay, what even is that?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
From the government,
Yeah.
you probably have to do some sort of work because of that financially, but also it's that I get scared about being forgotten. As sad and narcissistic as that sounds.
Yep. Yeah. So when that first agent had a breakdown, I went to a different agent. She was in Manchester, and I was living in Southampton. I'd had my daughter, but she said to me, "You need to be living up north. You need to be living up north. It was that distance because back there, even then, when my daughter had just been born 16 years ago, it was still very much you send out your headshot. You see, the emails were much more.
Wasn't like bringing your physical headshot.
When I left drama school, it was letters and black and white headshots. But even when I'd got that second agent, it was still, I think it was colour then, just starting to be colour, but I'm mainly black and white headshots. And she said, "You are northern. You need to be here. You need to be in the north. You've got a family now." And she let me go.
That's wild to be like, you're an actor. Well,
Yeah.
you did an Irish accent opening this podcast. Like, you can do accents. Like,
Yeah.
but that's wild for me. That geographical kind of, no, you've got to be in the north because you're northern.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay.
Yeah, it's different now. And then later I had my second daughter. I left it for a while, and I went to this lady, and she said to me, "Oh, you look a bit like Caroline Aherne." She said, and I like that. So yeah, let's sign you up. She said, "But I'm telling you," she said, "you're going to need new headshots, the works, everything." And I thought, how am I going to afford this?
Yeah, that's a lot to just overhaul and just do.
With 2 children now, and I thought, I'm going to phone her and tell her I just can't afford it. I just couldn't afford to carry on. I didn't know that would happen with 2 children, so I just left it. But I didn't feel remorse or anything like that. I just thought, I've got my children, and
this is my job now.
And I worked in their school for like 9 years or whatever it was, and different schools, and I was happy because my focus was on them, and it really is still on them. Yeah. But I'm able to...
Because they're older. You're able to now have your own trajectory. And,
that's right.
And also for them to see you, I think, pursue your passion is only going to help 3 young daughters as they are young to older teenagers think about, well, what do I want to do? And feel that they'll be supported in whatever they go into because you've always done what you want to do within your work. And that's so great to hear as well that when you had those children and you were like, no, this is my life and I'm happy.
Yes.
And I'm happy with that. I think we live in a world at the moment where women are told we can have it all.
And you can't.
No.
Absolutely you can't. It's
But
ridiculous.
it's like we've been told that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And conditioned. And especially, like, again, my age range has grown up believing that, well, if you have a child, you have to also work.
Yeah.
And you also have to do this and you also have to do this. And you're like, and it can become quite overwhelming. And I wish we could all just think, well, let's just separate the things and think, well, this is my role now. As an actor, we do different roles. My role is now a parent, and this is what I'll do.
Yeah.
And you touched upon saying that it's been super slow coming back into the industry.
Yeah.
Tell us about that. How have you found that? And how did you go about getting back in? So for people that have taken a step back for any reason, not just having children, just life, health, any reasons. And how long did you have out?
So what was it? 14 years? 12, 14? Yeah, 14
So coming
years,
back
really.
after between 10 and 15 years, how did you go about that? What did you do as a starting point?
I wasn't sure if I could remember lines. So made some contacts because my husband, he teaches production at City College. So he knows one of the teachers, Fareham, Hannah Wood. And she's an actor and a teacher, acting teacher. And she'd worked with this director, John O'Hanlon, at Titchfield Theatre. And she said he's great. He just does pure acting. It's just plays, not musicals or anything like that. So I thought, right, I'll have a look. And at the time, he was doing an Inspector Calls. And
Classic.
I thought, oh, I love that play. So I might just put my name down and see if I can audition for it. So I thought, play Mrs. Burling. It is, she's posh, she's upper class. I'd have to.
You'd have to act.
I have to act. I take on all that. So I thought I'm just gonna have a go. And luckily I got the part. That was the first time I'd been on stage for all those years.
How did that feel?
It felt amazing.
Yeah.
So good. Just just the I can now learn lines again. I can still do it.
There. It's muscle memory, like riding a bike. I'm back.
Yeah. It is harder. It's much harder. It took me a lot longer. When I was younger, I could learn a monologue in like 2 days.
Yeah.
A big long monologue in 2 days. Now it takes me a good week or more to learn that.
I can believe that. I think even having any sort of break from actual acting, actual performing and learning lines within that performing, when you go back to it, 'cause I had a similar thing when I went down the kind of facilitation route for a little while. I was living in London and I needed to make money to live. So I went down the kind of working in promo and also getting my facilitation skills up. So I was doing a lot of work in schools, a lot of theatre and education. And yes, I had to learn stuff for the workshop delivery, but it was a lot of improvising around it. As long as you knew the gist, you were taking them on a journey and it was storytelling and you fed off of them.
Yeah.
I did that for a good 2-3 years, and then I went back to auditioning and acting and theatre and oh my god, learning lines again. I was like, why can't I do this? I was like, I used to be able to do this so easily, and it's back now. It got back as soon as I'd done that first show and got going again. But it was just, I think it's the dauntingness of it as well, being quite daunting, being like, okay, I've got this 2-hour piece that I've got to learn all the lines for, and I've not done that in a while. Even just a couple of years out for me with just doing improvised stuff felt daunting. So I can imagine, like, nearly 14 years. Well done. But nice to know that it's still there.
Yeah, that's right.
And it's still there. And how's it been since that first performance?
Yeah. So after that, I thought, well, I'm going to try and see if I can, I have a friend called Ross, and he runs this online thing called Act on This. So I joined that for a while, and that teaches you everything you need to know about how to get in touch with casting directors and theatre directors, well, mainly television, but if you know how to get in touch with casting directors from telly, then it's the same for theatre directors.
Just gives you that direction.
That's right. And agents, so I did that for a while, and then I thought, right, I'm equipped now to send. I sent about 300 emails out to different agents. About 4 got back to me. 2 were like no's, because it was just after COVID as well.
So everyone's opening their books, agent-wise, and 2, everyone is coming back from their customer service jobs and pivoting and being like, oh, I want to come back.
And they said, we are just looking after our actors now because, the industry's not in a good state.
Not the way it was.
And then this lady from Manchester, she emailed me and she said, I remember you from Manchester. And what you were saying earlier about contacts, remembering. And she remembered me from all those years ago. And I thought, that's great. That made me feel great. So I signed with her for a while. And I had a few auditions, not many. And then I got in contact with a different agent. That was a year later. And it was immediately, straight away, it was like, right, you've got, you're up for a BBC drama. So,
and you were like, okay.
Yeah, so just, and so it's been quite steady. It's not all the time, because many people younger than me, they'll have a casting through, a self-tape through, every week or something like that. Yeah. But I don't. Yeah. And I think that's because, well, I'm female, my age, maybe where I'm based. I don't know. I don't know what all that, but I definitely know that it's because I'm female and my age. Yeah. I'm sort of too old now to play the mum. Yeah. And I'm too young to play the grandma.
So it's that weird kind of in-between bit where you're like, oh, what is my space within that role? Yeah. So what kind of roles are you getting within that in-between space?
It's mainly just, I haven't done any television. Well, I have done bits of television. I did a thing with Amanda Holden and Keith Lemon.
Oh, yeah.
I can't remember his name.
I love that. Lemon. You were trying to be like, nothing in French there. Keith Lemon.
So I did that. And then I did some stuff with Woodcut Media.
Nice,
that was local. So I did that. But I really want to get into some BBC dramas and
Get into that nitty gritty.
Absolutely. So
Yeah.
it's mainly just been local theatre work, because last year was just awful. Funding, directors I'd spoken to said the funding was just awful
Yeah.
to get.
I can vouch for that.
And the
Yeah.
industry was just in a mess. It's in a mess
It is
financially.
And we were talking just before this, weren't we, about funding?
Yeah.
And even if you're working with the right people, doing the right stuff, wanting to make change, not just, not making theatre for theatre's sake. I don't think people do that anymore.
No.
We're all about kind of doing things for a reason. The world has moved on, and also entertainment is just needed within the world we live in. Like we need some escapism. That in itself, that's not theatre for theatre's sake. That's actually a need. But the ones that are kind of working with marginalised communities and vulnerable people, like I do so in some of my work, even we're not getting the funding. So you think they're not getting the funding, there's no hope for TV or just wanting to do a new show.
That's right.
Or do a new play. It's unless it's hitting all of those quotas that the specific funders want. Which has always been tough. It's always been tough, and it's always been about how can you say that you're doing the right thing for funding. But it's even more of a minefield now, because I don't think they even know. I don't even think the funders fully know anymore.
No, that's right.
And it's all in a bit of a jumble.
Yeah, that's right.
So I can really see that. And you touched, talking about geographical areas, you touched a bit on, you don't know if it might be because you're down south with opportunities. Why did you move down south in the first place? Was it your husband?
Yeah, my husband. So my husband, he's local.
Yeah.
So and I think he wanted to be near his mum and dad, and because I don't really have much family up north anymore, that was fine with me.
Yeah. How did you find the cultural differences? Was there much difference?
Yeah, not really. No, I wouldn't say much.
No. So
I've,
felt at home.
I've lived all over the place.
Yeah.
So it's
So have I. You're like me. I'll just anywhere is home, as long as I've got my people.
yeah.
As long as you've got your family, your little family, that's home. No, I'm the same.
Yeah.
And you said about doing more local theatre and things. Has that helps you feel a bit more connected to the local art scene, and do you think that will help with the kind of longevity of your career or the push that you might need to be seen?
Yes, I think so. Opening up new ideas, I think. So I worked with Theatre for Life, and we did this thing about menopause, puberty versus menopause.
Which looked super interesting. I saw it all over your socials.
Yeah.
I really wanted to come and see it. I couldn't make it work. But yeah, it looked really interesting.
Yeah.
And how was that, like having those two different experiences as a woman? Did you do like an R&D for it?
Yes, that's right. Yes, so we went to the Mast and worked with really two talented other actors, three, sorry, and it was really good. But it was very musical at first, and I thought, it's not. I don't know if it's right for me, but it wasn't musical in the end. It was because the director, she wanted something excellent. It wasn't just about showtime. It was about something more deep. And
if you've got actor musos, use them. Do you know what I mean?
That's right.
It's such a great. It's lovely having a bit of live music within a piece. Not making it a musical. I always say it's a play with music.
That's right. And it was that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we developed something for a scratch night, and we showed it, and we got really good reviews and feedback. But she didn't get the big funding.
So that word again, isn't it?
Yeah,
Big F.
yeah. So she's trying again. She
good,
did get
good
some
her.
funding through from universities, and I think it is. But the big funding, so
That will help take it to that next level.
So we're going back in again in a few weeks. To do some more.
Oh, nice.
To do some
just
more.
like R&D it again.
Yeah,
and
yes.
Was it part autobiographical? Was it verbatim from other people?
There was a bit of verbatim. Yes. Some writing. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Well, if it comes back, we'll have to keep an eye out for it.
And it's the first time I've ever known about anything like scratch nights. I'd not even heard of scratch nights.
Yeah, so it opened
years
up
ago.
your kind of getting creative avenue. And again, I think I talk about this a lot. People listening to this probably been like, you've said this before, Becca. But I think as artists, we need to see stuff as well.
Yeah.
And the big shows aren't always accessible. One, where you're based in the UK.
Yeah.
But two, the price.
Yes.
It's I can only go to like the theatre in the West End as like a treat, like a present.
me too.
It's someone's birthday present or Christmas present, or
Yeah.
like when I lived in London, it was a lot more accessible. Again, it's that geographical. It was a lot more accessible for me because I was on lists for like seat fillers.
Yeah.
And, you know, like for press nights, they want to sell out, so they'll give you a cheap ticket. And I could just go and see shows at the drop of a hat. You know, it'd be like, this evening, do you want to go see this? And I'd be like, yeah, I'm there kind of thing. Or you could literally just walk. This is how I saw Harry Potter. Walk to the box office and see if they had any...
standby.
Any like give backs or whatever. You know, like when someone's ill or can't make it, they basically like give their ticket back.
I see.
So if they had any of those, and they usually sell them for a bit cheaper because they just want to get rid of them.
Yeah.
That again, it was the accessibility of that. Yes, I paid more to live in London, so that was a thing. But still, it was easier. And now you've got the train fare. You've got also it's so blooming hard to get tickets for the big shows.
Yeah, very
like
much.
you're in the lottery, you know, tickets, and you might not get it, and it's quite a lot of stress, to be honest, access wise.
That's right.
In general, so I think. This is a little shout out, I think, to people to go and see stuff on their doorstep, to go see local, see Scratch Nights, see Work in Progress. Because also remember the likes of Phoebe Waller-Bridge.
Yeah.
She started off in Scratch.
Yes.
Fleabag was a local Scratch Night, then went to the Fringe, blew up.
Yeah.
And then became the show that we see on TV.
That's right, yeah.
And then she came back to London to do like I went to see that actually.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
I would have loved
Again,
to
I
see
lived in
that.
London and like got tickets.
Great.
It was stunning. It was amazing. Again, love a one woman show. Shout out to all those one woman shows. You know, men, if you do a one man show, it's still fine. But I'm here for the one. I'm here for the one woman shows.
Me too.
Big up the women, and that was just incredible to see. And I think. It's easy to forget where those big names and artists have come from. And it's like, so if you go see a Scratch Night, you might see the next Phoebe Waller-Bridge. You might see the next Fleabag. You might see the next whatever.
Yeah.
And be like, I was part of that.
Yeah.
Like, just go see, and like local music as well. Like, go see local music. You know, just go see smaller acts.
Yes.
And you never know what might come of it.
Yeah.
So... your kind of trajectory through life, you've done a lot in your kind of 40 years on this planet.
I feel like I've done a lot, but I feel like I'm no further on. No further on. It's like, come on. When will it happen?
When will I just get over that little...
I'm nearly 50. It needs to happen now.
So this is us saying to any casting directors out there, anyone, Sara needs it to happen now. Like now, otherwise she's not happy.
Yeah.
She's not happy.
Absolutely.
And how have your family been with you going back? How has that been?
Very supportive.
Yeah.
Really, really supportive. My eldest daughter, she's so clever and she's so mature, and she'll say to me, you need to search different areas to go into.
She's becoming your little agent.
You can't just stress about it. You need to look into it. You need to sit down and give yourself time. We will do the washing and...
Oh my God, I love that. You're like, sorry, if I just sit here and search for stuff, you'll... Yeah, okay, I'll do that. Yeah, I'll do that.
They're very supportive.
That's so lovely. So like, they're your biggest cheerleaders.
Yeah, they are.
They want you to do stuff.
They do,
Well, I remember even when we performed at Hat Fair.
Yeah.
Doesn't that feel like ages ago?
Absolutely.
That was random, but it feels like ages ago. I remember they were there, and they were there for like the whole day. They followed us round, and my husband did as well. And they were like, I think they all got to know each other because they were like, well, we're just here because we're supporting them. And we were, for context, for the listeners, we performed at Hat Fair, which is an outdoor arts festival. There's an episode on it with Andrew, actually, that you can listen to, Andrew Loretto, who runs it. And it's outdoor arts, so it's site-specific at different areas. And we travelled round the city, and we had this little merry band of supporters that came round and watched us. And then, of course, we had big audiences from everywhere, random people that watched it. And I love stuff like the Hat Fair because it's theatre in unexpected spaces. That's a big thing for me. It always has been, bringing theatre to people that wouldn't normally see it. And also, again, it's that access thing. And an unexpected space, I don't know why, it's just so creative to me. And it's a little bit live art vibes. And you did something similar. Well, you did something like that, which was city life stories.
Yeah.
And it was staged in people's living rooms.
That's right, yeah. So I got a message from a friend, said, look, this is interesting. And I just ignored it for a while. And I thought, oh, I don't know if that's, I want to do that. And I looked at it again and I thought, actually, this sounds quite interesting. People's lives are interesting.
Yeah.
Right? So I thought, okay, I'll apply. And I got through. And so it was called Home Theatre, and Home Theatre comes from this director from Stratford East, Kerry Kyriakos Michael. I hope I've got that right. So he's a Cypriot, and I think he founded it, and so it's been done in London. And I think he wants to take it all over different regions, really. And so the funding came from Southampton Forward, which was going to be, the cultural bid, but Bradford won, didn't they?
Yeah, we went for it, but yeah.
So anyway, so I think some of the funding came from there, and there was a lady at Southampton Uni who worked really hard to get all that funding and get. So lots of different actors. I think there was about 9 or 12, I can't remember, different actors. And we went in to rehearsals at Southampton University, and we spoke about, how to tell somebody's story, really. We didn't want, it's not just your life story, it's just how to give them something that's special to them, that's about them.
Relatable.
Yeah.
The best theatre is relatable, isn't it?
Yeah, and so we all got matched with different people from Southampton in different houses. So it was up to us then to ring. They were called hosts. So you phoned these people, and I got matched with this lovely lady called Helen, and she told me, all about different things in her life. Yeah. And she said to me, "I want a comedy. That's what I want."
So you're like, here we go. I can use those comedic skills that I trained in all those years ago and bring that into this piece.
Yes. But also, I thought, where do I go with this? This is a story. And I just sat on my sofa and I thought, what's going to inspire me? I know it sounds a bit ridiculous, but I saw Alma's Not Normal come up.
I adore.
And I thought, right, I've never seen it, so I thought, I'm going to watch this.
Isn't it great?
Oh my God, it's so amazing.
Isn't it?
It's so brilliant.
Do you know, that's something I've seen recently that sparked something in me where I've just been like, I binged it not long ago. My mum's been on at me to watch it for ages. Yeah. And she messaged me like, have you watched Alma's Not Normal yet? And I was like, do you know what? I haven't, but I've got some time. I'm going to. I couldn't stop. It was brilliant.
So good.
She is. Sophie is just, she's just brilliant.
Amazing. Amazing.
Yeah.
And just so normal and natural about ridiculous things.
It's like naturalism within ridiculous situations, which is such a skill.
Yeah. So I thought, right, that's it. That's how I need to approach this comedy. And so I had all these different silly things. I was doing impressions of not Esther Ranson, because I can't do it. It was the lady with red hair from I can't remember her name, but anyway, I'd got all these different impressions in it, and in this story, and it was the A-team and these bees and things, because this lady was a beekeeper. And
that's great. I love that she had something quite quirky that you could jump off of.
Yeah. And so we came into the mast. We went to the mast to give a final show to not to the host, but to everybody, the director, and there was a big audience, and I thought, I've just got to do this. my phone wouldn't work, so I couldn't get and
we love a technical
music,
issue,
it was
don't
a nightmare. And anyway, it worked in the end. But I just thought, right, you've got to channel that Alma's Not Normal, Sophie Willan.
Yeah, be Sophie Willan.
And just go for it. And so I did. And at the end, I just felt overwhelmed because the people were crying with laughter.
Oh, that's
they
such
were
a great
clapping.
feeling.
And the director, and he said to me, he said, when you get your funding for the West End. And I thought, what a compliment.
Yes.
What a compliment.
I love that. And it just makes you feel like... And you, in the way you went into it, like, oh, I don't know if I'll get this, but I'll apply.
Yeah.
That's always us, isn't it? We're
Yeah.
always a bit like, oh, what if?
Yeah.
And it worked out.
Yeah.
That's such a success story.
Yeah.
And I bet that gave you, hopefully that gave you that push to keep going, even though things are feeling slow.
It did, because there was other actors there, and like this lady called Lucy, and she does her own show, and she said, you need to do your own show. And
We've spoken a lot about one-woman shows.
Yeah.
Here we go.
And she
Watch this space, Sara, one-woman show. Coming to a screen near you, because it wants to be on the screen.
yeah, that's right. And she said, go to the attic, which I've never heard of it before. Have you heard of it?
No.
The attic?
Where's
in
the attic? In Southampton?
Totton, I think.
Totton.
Yeah.
Totton's a bit of a sly horse, with Hanger Farm Arts Centre and stuff.
So, and I looked, I Googled it, and I thought, oh, there's loads of stand-up here. There's loads of stand-up, and then there's like an improvisation class for comedy, like the one that Sophie Willing goes to.
In her episode. Oh my God, that's
I don't
brilliant.
know if it's like that, but you know what I mean?
I hope you go and there's some people like those characters.
So I
great.
thought, I need to look into this, and figure out
what that next step is and what that looks like.
Yes.
And do that.
Yes.
That's so great, though. And I think it's sometimes the industry takes us on unexpected journeys and trajectories, and some things work out like that and some things don't. So that kind of brings me on to my what's the weirdest job you've ever done? And that could be in the industry. It can be like a in-between job. What have you done where you've turned up and you've been like, what is this?
Do you know what? I think I haven't really had many unusual jobs. Rubbish jobs I've had.
I mean, you can start with some rubbish ones and see what flows from there.
Do you know what? I worked in this, what was it, like a newsagent sort of thing.
Yeah.
And at the time, do you know the League of Gentlemen? Yeah. They do Inside Number 9, don't they?
I'm not that young. I'm not that uninformed.
You look young.
Okay, that's the right answer. Thank you. You can stay.
So, so I was properly into League of Gentlemen at the time. And I think there's a character on there, and she's obsessed with pens. She goes, "Hello, job seekers." and she loves pens.
Yeah. That's her thing.
Yeah, so I went to work in this newsagent, and this woman who owned this shop, and she just grabbed hold of all these pens, and she went, "I love pens. Do you love pens?" And she picked up these pens. She went, and she was like this with the pens. "I just love them."
And you were like,
and I thought, oh my God, this is League of Gents. I'm working in the League of Gents shop.
were you thinking, have I taken something? Like, am I actually here?
And of course, then you think, am I local? This is a local shop for local people. we'll have no absurdity here.
Did you say? Did you go into that character? I wish you did.
I
You should have. You probably were thinking, is she going to steal those pens?
I thought she might have killed me. She was just so weird with the pens. She'd lift them up like this, and she was just weird.
The least of your worries was her stealing them. You thought that you were going to die there.
Maybe. So I just thought, no, forget that.
What did she do? What did she do in the end? Did she just leave?
I left. I just left. I thought, I can't actually do this job anymore with this woman. It's just
as in there and then,
weird.
did you just walk out?
No. End of the day,
You didn't do your
just
drama
thought,
school thing where you were like, all of you people, you don't deserve me.
No, and I'm just
You can take your pens and shove them.
And the thing is, at lunchtime, you want to sit, don't you, nice and just relax and eat lunch. And she went, right, you can go upstairs and eat lunch. So it's in the attic, and you'll have to sit on a box. And I had to sit on an empty box, and there was rubbish round me. And I thought, why am I working here? What do actors do to have to get by? Literally.
That was literally a what is my life situation on that bleak box. Eating your little lunch sandwich.
At the time, yeah.
Probably like a soggy sandwich, because I can't imagine there was a fridge to put your stuff in.
No.
If you're sitting on a box, I can't imagine there was.
Yeah, so I left there.
Okay.
That was the most unusual job.
See, you said you didn't really have any. That is.
Yeah, I suppose it is.
And it's a story as well.
Yeah.
You need to. Maybe I've evoked something. I've made you remember something. You could use that for your one-woman show.
Yeah.
And it's things like that. I think as performers, as directors, actors, anything you are in the industry, I think we're always drawing ideas from things.
Yeah.
I like to think we see the world in a bit of a different way. You know, I love people watching. I don't know about you.
Yeah, yes. Oh, yeah, I do, yeah.
If I've got time, I'm like...
But then, you know, if you look at them too much, they think, what is she looking at? It's just weird. Stop looking at me. What are you doing?
You become the pen lady.
Yeah, that's right.
People are like, oh, why are you... Got to put sunglasses on. And just be like, really.
Yeah, summer's good for that, isn't it?
And also, that's why London's good. No one cares about anything or anyone.
That's right.
No one's looking at you. Even if you're looking at them, they're not looking at you.
Yeah.
So you can really like just plonk yourself in a park in London.
Yeah.
And just watch. I have literally written some of the best characters, or like drawn inspiration for characters I'm performing from people that I've just watched, especially like physicality. I love watching how people walk. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Now you're going to leave the room and be like, is Becca just staring at me?
No, actually,
While I walk.
when we worked at 878, I remember being on the train and I wrote a scene and I thought, you'd be perfect for this.
Oh.
You and Yvonne. I thought that'd be, and I still have it.
Well, let's get the team together.
Absolutely.
We said we need to do some. I need to come and do some scenes with you guys.
Absolutely.
So we'll get Jordan and his camera.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we'll perform it. There you go. That's the next thing to do.
Yeah.
Next thing to do. See, all about who you know in the industry.
That's
We
right.
said that, but in a different way from how you experienced it,
Yeah.
getting into it. This is connection. This
Yes.
is working in community. Now we've kind of like we've naturally spoken about this as we do when we talk about our jobs. But is there like any huge barrier to the industry for you personally that you've experienced, or a general barrier that has kind of set you back or made you feel like you're standing still a little bit?
As I said, as a woman, there's more male parts that come through on Spotlight. The amount is ridiculous, and for women it's a lot less. And also my age, there's not many at all. But also, I think location is just you'll get through it, and I can understand it if the budget is low. If it's a student film,
It's not going to allow for travel and
and they'll say local hire. If it's a low budget, you think that's fine.
Yeah.
But if it's something else, if it's for television, and I understand there's still limits to budgets, but if it is for television and you have an actor who is fabulous, who lives in Cornwall, perhaps, and who's perfect for that part, you should have that person in that part. You shouldn't have to just rely on somebody who lives, within 20,
The
within
M25.
The M25, as they say.
It's
in
literally
all,
that, isn't it? The M25.
Absolutely. Location should not be a barrier, and it really annoys me. It really
it's
does.
classist as well.
Yes,
Because people live where they've been born. It's
Yeah,
not,
that's right.
Yeah, and yes, obviously, and also, and moving, you move where you need to for family or for other things, and your life shouldn't be a barrier
Yes,
to your job.
that's right.
And I think it's been an age-old thing within the industry, and I wish it was getting a bit better.
Yeah, and I think having children, although it is fantastic, it is a barrier, and I've not met many people who are mums. I haven't made those connections yet, and that's not because I haven't, I haven't gone out to seek other mums. It's not, I haven't done that, but just with the work I've done, I've not really met anybody who has 3 children.
Yeah.
And it is a full-time job almost. Although you work in other jobs, it is.
Not almost, it is.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. And I haven't actually met anyone yet, and also who doesn't have any support. I don't have any support network. I've never have. For my children. So it's always been just me and my husband. And my husband.
And I get that. I get that because me and my husband, and again, we've chosen through work, through life, through where our little family unit is. We've never lived near family for an extended period of time, and we've chosen to, buy away from our family. So, when the time comes, if we have kids, then we'll be very much just a little unit together. So it's actually so great for me. You're an inspiration to me as a woman in the industry, being it was just me and my husband. We had kids. We did it. We raised them.
Yes.
I've met them. They're brilliant. They're beautiful. They support what you do. And then you've gone back into the industry.
Yes.
So I think, do you have any advice on people on how to overcome those barriers you spoke about, or is it just to keep going? Is it just that?
Yeah, it is. Just keep going. Yes.
Yeah.
There are times when I think I'll just do a full-time job, and then I'll be able to book a holiday. And look forward to that, and I can have a reliable car, and so.
I think a lot of us do that. I don't do it so much now. But I think I still every 6 months to a year I have like what I like to call like a mini mental breakdown, where I literally cry to my husband like, what am I doing with my life? I'm like, maybe I should just get a full-time job. Maybe it's just not all worth it. Maybe I'm not talented. And
and I think all actors go through that.
Yeah, and then I have to pick myself up and be like, no, you've worked for this, you can do this, and having that support network, whoever it is, just being like your cheerleader and saying you can do it, you can do it, you can do it. Talking of cheerleading, I'd love to kind of wrap up the conversation today by shouting about something you're either working on or something that someone else is doing that you'd love to shout about. Is there anything you want to point us in the direction of?
Only that Theatre for Life are back into the Mast, and they're performing there in July. So
that Mast should sponsor this episode, because we've given them a lot of shout outs.
Yeah, they should.
Mast Mayflower Studios, for anyone that doesn't know the acronym.
Yes, absolutely, yes. Yeah.
So all the brilliant work they're doing.
Yeah. And also a shout out to some of the, casting directors. I had a lovely email from a casting director because I went for an advert recently with Sarah Lancashire, and I got a recall.
And I love a recall.
Yeah, but I didn't get it, and I thought, why is this? So I took loads of advice, and they said, look, you can email these casting directors, but you won't get anything back. And I did. And I thought, wow. And she said to me, there's nothing else you could have done. She said, you did brilliantly. She said, all it is like, it could be like your hair colour's different. Your size is the same as somebody else.
Just wasn't what they were immediately looking for.
Yeah. And I thought, okay. And so that reassured me then, you just needed that email.
It's not me, it's what they're looking for. Yeah. And actually, we know that. But it's so easy to just think, it's me.
Yeah,
what
really
am I doing wrong?
Yes.
Why aren't I getting it? And it's actually no, it's just not that I wasn't what they were looking for.
Yeah.
It's not my lack of skill, not my lack of talent, not my lack of passion. Yes. It's just that. But well done for reaching out though to them and getting it. Yeah. Because people will be like, oh no, don't bother. But
I did. I thought, I'm just going to. And whether they'll email back, I don't really care. But
they
did.
You took a leaf out of your daughter's book.
Yeah, that's right. Absolutely.
You searched, you messaged, you were like knocking down the doors.
Yes.
That's what we'll end the pod on. Like, knock those doors down, push the doors open, and go in, and don't let anything dim your light.
That's right.
Because and to you as well, like, keep going.
Yeah.
Like, it's not going to be easy, but you've come back.
Yeah.
You're coming back strong.
Yeah.
And
I'm told the industry's getting better now. Well, it just.
Yeah.
It will from now. It's sort of it's going up.
And we need people like you in it to make it.
Hopefully.
Make it become good. Yeah, absolutely. And we'll link kind of all the things you've done, your social media and everything, in the credits of this episode so people can find you and see what you're doing. But thank you so much for joining me.
Oh, thank you. It's been so lovely.
It's been great to chat. Thanks for being part of the arts.
Brilliant.
And we'll chat soon.
Great.
Bye.
Thank you, Becca.
Bye.
Take care. Bye.